Hey, you just tuned in to the One Word Ministries broadcast. I am Monica Marie. That is my stage name. It is also, get this, my real name. Listen, you're getting not just the stage me, you're also gonna get the real me. And before we even get started, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret, a little something that everybody doesn't know. If you spent even a little bit of time around me, you probably have figured this out. But just to help clear the air a little bit so there's not any tension or anything like that going on, listen, I don't like talking to people. I really don't. And it's not because I'm shy or because I'm rude or anything like that. I just a little bit more comfortable with being by myself, if that makes any sense. So on what people would call or what society would call an introvert is just my personality. And so I think it's kind of funny. I actually laughed quite a bit when I realized that God was calling me to do spoken word on another level, on another platform. And I got to tell you, man, what scripture says, he takes the foolish things to confound the wise. He confounded me. He confounded my wisdom. Because if it was left up to me, I probably wouldn't be doing this. So anyway, I praise God for his grace and his mercy and for his talent. If there's something that God has called you to do, or if you feel led to do, if it's a big dream, a big vision, a gift, a goal, or something of that sort that you may not feel adequate enough to accomplish, listen, you don't have to accomplish it in your own strength. The call itself came along with the grace in order for you to get it done. So listen, throw the excuses out the window, chuck the deuces to all of those things that's been holding you bound, and let's move forward. That has been my tidbit for this particular show. Now, what we're really here for, not to say that you weren't here for that other part either. You know, I'm glad you actually got that. But for this particular piece, I like to go over the piece called Past Tense. It's a piece that I did at Stage Light Charlotte that was here in Charlotte, North Carolina a couple of weeks ago. I like to go over it again. I'm not going to go slow. Actually, I'm going to go kind of fast on the piece, but I am going to elaborate a little bit more and just talk about some of the things that came along and the reason for the piece. More so just the background story or explain some pieces about this particular spoken word poem itself. And so if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, drop it in the comment section. And I'll make sure I get back to you. If you like it, listen, click the thumbs up button, share it, comment, just subscribe to the channel. I'll be back here. It won't be tomorrow, but I'll be back. And I'll just make sure I keep you guys up to date as far as some things that are going on. Just roll with me. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Just pay attention. Write some notes down. If you got some notes, write it down. If you got a notepad, write down some notes. Leave me something. Tell me what you got out the piece. All right? Got to slow down a little bit. Feel a little rushed. Okay. He impressed my intellect with concepts and precepts that were so smooth that he bypassed my frontal lobe. His poison was deposited deep into my chest. He caused my defense to stand at ease. He made it easy to believe every word he said. It was easier to disbelieve every word he said seemed to be stuck in my head like mental collapse. Playing Jenga with my head as he removed my foundation and replaced it with his. Instead, I was his project. He was my demolition man, and he broke me down in ways that I can't explain. His verbal became abusive, but I was so addicted to the pain that I allowed him into my brain, and I allowed him to claim me as his gain. And it doesn't even matter what he said the first time we met, because I was the one who had opened up and entertained. I used to hold the controller, but he switched to channels and then he programmed me to be controlled remotely, no batteries required. He rewired me with his words. He said that it was easy once he got me to believe every word he said. He said it was easy. I was easy. So easy to believe that I allowed my mental to be hijacked by imaginary potential. Imagine that. Now, he was the first man to ever call me beautiful, and then his big firm hands offered a level of security that I had always longed for. He even protected my breath from escaping my lungs that night. His big, firm hands found vengeance wrapped around my neck. I was more afraid of him leaving me than I leaving this earth realm. Without him, I couldn't make it. Without him, I couldn't do anything right. Without him, I was nothing, a nobody, an empty body, seeking for his words to give me life. But he could never give me life. He could only take it. And I took him, taking it from me over and over and over. I needed an intervention, but my voice had been drowned out by so many attempts at crying wolf, while I still kept crying after the wolf. I said I needed an intervention, but my voice had been drowned out by so many attempts at crying wolf, while I, Little Red, still kept crying after the wolf. Somebody grabbed the remote and switched the channels. It's like I'm stuck in these reruns. It's the same story. I know how it ends, but I always sit still, hoping that the ending changes for the better. Have you ever gotten stuck in the reruns? Revisiting bad scenes to rewind and revisit those bad scenes to rewind and pause. Y'all, please stop visiting these bad scenes. I know it's not always easy to flip the channels, but you know just as well as any that you're wasting your entire lifetime on a silly subscription disguised as love. I need you to cancel your subscription. I need you to call retention and then go get your money back, because real love wouldn't treat you like that. Real love wouldn't talk to you like that, and real love wouldn't snatch you up like that, and real love wouldn't smack you around, leave you bruised, and have you carrying the blame as if it was really your fault like that. I need you to grab the reins of this life and drive straight through every stop sign and every yellow light and every do not enters, because you should dare not enter into this new season carrying the same baggage of inferiority that's held you down for years, if not centuries. So turn up the bass to that. Turn up the bass and then tune out every thought that comes to knock against your consciousness. I need you to lock it out. Yes, lock it out and then run towards greater as if your life depends on it, because it does. I need you to run towards greater like a madman as if your life depends on it, and realize that what you run after now does affect the rest of your entire life. And you, sweetheart, you really can't afford to pay full price for discounted, out-of-date, markdown, clearance rack relationships anymore. It's not worth it. I'm telling you, it's not even worth it. Me? As for me, yes, I do desire more. He had this funky way of blocking out the sun, but I can see clearly now. The jerk is gone. My prayer is that I stay strong long enough to keep him gone for good. My prayer for you is that you will stay strong long enough to keep him or her or that thing gone, so gone for good. He used to love me easy. He said that it was easy. I was easy. And I was easy. I was. Past tense. Thank you. I was going to press pause, but I'm not. Because, again, I don't desire this to be the longest broadcast, lest you not come back to join me on the next one, which I will be doing something new on the next broadcast. So make sure you subscribe so that you'll get a notice when it actually comes out. Again, this particular piece is called Past Tense. I'm not going to go over it again word for word, but from the first point, you can actually see where someone's mental was engaged. And guys have some smooth talk. They can talk smooth. Just some smooth talking dudes, you know. And I think that not to cash any aspersions on any guy, but there are some guys that actually use their smooth talking to talk their way into the pants. In this particular piece, I'm talking about talking their way into a position to control. Society sometimes focuses or desensitizes physical abuse and doesn't necessarily getting to the whole depth of mental abuse and emotional abuse and the things that have strongholds built up into an individual that causes them not to leave if there is physical abuse presented. A lot of times it's just the mental abuse or the mental captivity that takes place from entertaining the wrong talk for too long. The deceptive part about this is that when we listen to certain things and they accompany a certain beat or they have a certain rhythm or tone, It has the ability to bypass our frontal lobe or our reasoning facilities. It has the ability to just skip this whole part where we actually think about what we're hearing and dismiss. We don't dismiss. It just bypass that entire process, and it gets deposited into your psyche, into your spirit, into your soul. Not not necessarily in that particular order, but it gets deposited. That's the same reason why you can hear a song, never study the song, and find out that you know all the words to the song. It's because the beat and the rhythm, the words ride on the rhythm, and so the rhythm itself bypasses this particular area. And guess what? The words, they get a free ride. They get a free ride right into you, right into your spirit. Listen, it's serious. It's serious, and so this particular piece has to deal with breaking that particular cycle, and you're moving past all of those things that may have kept you bound mentally, that may have kept you bound in a relationship with either male or female. And I know I came from a female perspective. Obviously, I wasn't going to get up there and talk like a dude as if I'm aware of how that actually processes from a dude's point of view. But there are a lot of guys who feel pressured or feel like they're captive as well to young women or young men that are using their words to control them and keep them captive. And so I say on today, you can be free. You can be free, but you gotta, one, submit to God and find out what He desires you to do, but also pay attention. Preventive is always better than the after effects and try to correct something afterwards. Preventive is definitely a whole lot easier, a lot quicker to get a hold of, to actually take control of before it takes place. So pay attention to what you're listening to who you allow to speak and whisper sweet nothings into your ear. Listen, it may sound like nothing, but I guarantee you it's filled with something that you don't necessarily desire to reap the harvest from in the near future. The deceptive part of this, again, is that the consequences, that sometimes they don't happen immediately. A lot of times it's drawn out, and you end up just like sipping on a bad can of beer or some bad liquor, and that high or that drunk just sleeps up on you. It sneaks up on you. That's what this is like. It's like listening to somebody, you think it's all cool, but before you know it, you are drunk. Before you know it, you high. Before you know it, you're in bondage. Nobody likes bondage. You can be free. You certainly can. So again, if you have any questions, any concerns, if you know somebody that may require some counseling, reach out. If you require counseling, reach out to someone trusted. Maybe even not someone that you know. Get in contact with a suicide line, not a suicide line, or a physical abuse line. I'm going to put a number in the box itself, but listen, reach out. You're not out there by yourself. You're certainly not the first person to go through it. Believe me, you are not the first person to go through it. And there is healing. There is a way out. That can be your past tense. It's been a pleasure, guys. And again, next show I'll be coming up with something new. Subscribe to the channel so that you'll get the notice when it comes out. But also like, share with your friends, leave a comment. You can check me out, of course, on YouTube, which is where you are. But also you can take a look at Facebook, Instagram, and what else is there? I think those are the only two. And my handle name is the same for both, and that's Monica Marie Poetry. No special letters, no special characters. All right, until next time, it's been awesome. You guys be blessed. Deuces.